So in this video, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do in The Crew 2. That's a video game that's coming out early next year. That's a long time away, but it's not like I have anything better to do. I think I'll just lay on this couch until then, or until Shadow of War comes out. Sounds like a mobile game, but it isn't. In The Crew 2, I'm going to drive around the country in my car. And I'll go up really high in my plane and see what everything looks like. So in the first game, I like to drive around. I like to go down. Sometimes I just like to go to one of the cities, one of the coasts, and then put a waypoint on the other coast and just drive there and see what's what. And that really doesn't cover most of the country because you're just going down a couple of roads. And there's still all this massive area everywhere else that you aren't able to see. And it's the same map as the first game, partially the same map. Like somebody showed a comparison video between the Crew 2 and the first Crew. Some stuff is different, but other stuff, everything's placed exactly in the same spot, but they've updated the graphics. There's one where there's a parking lot. All the cars are the exact same type of car, but they made them look a whole lot better, like significantly better. Because in the first one, apparently they didn't have any kind of reflections off of them from light, but in the new one they do. So that's pretty cool. I think it'll be pretty neat to see what everything looks like in a plane. Like go do some loops around the Hoover Dam, maybe. It's weird. In the first game, they called that the Big Dam. And I'm like, is there some licensing thing, like they couldn't call it Hoover Dam? But then you get to the Hoover Dam, and they have a little vista thing that you can do, and it'll show you the dam. They call it the Hoover Dam. So I don't know why all the signs called it Big Dam. Like, did they not think they were going to be able to call it the Hoover Dam, and then they had to change it after the fact? That's weird. In one video I saw that there was an unfinished bridge with two pylons on it, or towers, or whatever you want to call it. And so I went into the first Crew to the same spot, and I saw that. And that one, it was just like a cable stay bridge, but not the correct kind of cable stay. And then I went on the maps and saw that the Crew 1 had the wrong bridge there. It was actually the 2-pillar one. And in the same area, there's kind of that's a very smooth hill going up in the first game. In the second game, that hill goes almost straight up. And that makes me think they've added some terrain somewhere. And to make up for the fact that they've had to push everything out, in some areas, they just made hills really steep so they could add the terrain. It was weird because it was next to the water. You don't expect it on that side of the water. So maybe they added some land on the island. I know they added roads. In the same video I saw, they were going over that bridge missing one of the pillars. There's a ton of roads right next to that bridge in the Crew 2, but there's just a couple of dinky roads in the first game. And they added some new stuff for the racing cars. They had shortcuts in the cities now, and jumps in the races. And apparently you'll be able to drive across the rooftops of buildings. All the buildings you can just go up on top of them now. You can't drive up on there, but you can transform into your plane, fly over a building, and then transform into a car, and then go down like that and land on the top of it. They missed a chance to have it actually transform. What they do is they just have this little effect that makes the vehicle disappear, and then the next vehicle just transports in. They should have just had like all these moving parts in it, just go, and like you can't really see what it's turning into, and then suddenly it becomes the vehicle you want. And it's really neat that you can do that on the fly. You don't have to go into a menu or go somewhere. So like if you're just driving somewhere, if you just want to drive straight, and there's something in the way, like a river, you don't have to go around it. You just turn into a plane and go over it. or you can turn it into a boat and drive through the river. And in one of the videos I saw, I think it was the same one, it actually showed something that you always see in a trailer with planes and cars. They have the cars coming one way and the plane going over them in the opposite direction. And that actually happened in the gameplay. And this is an E3 demo of random people at E3 playing it. So that's pretty neat. One thing I hope they do is, even though it's multiplayer, always multiplayer, which sucks, because maybe I'd like to do single player, that even if they dump a whole bunch of people in the game, I just hope they have NPC cars that you can go up to and you can just race them head to head like in Forza Horizon. Give you something to do when you're driving around. I hope they do that with the planes and boats. You're just flying around and there's a plane up in the sky. Well, hey, plane, you want to race? All right. I guess I don't know how that would work, though. I guess it would be like a checkpoint thing, because just having you go to a single location in the plane wouldn't be very interesting, because you just fly straight to it and there's really nothing you can do. You would probably win by default, because these racing games always slow down the AI if they're ahead of you. And they always keep them just behind you. So you think, oh man, I'm going to lose, but not really, because they're purposely slowing down to stay behind you. That's what they do in Forza Horizon 3. Sometimes the cars go zooming past you, and then even on a straightaway, somehow you're catching up to them despite the fact that they're so much faster than you. Let's see what else is in the crew too. It's gonna be it'll probably be pretty fun to fly around, because there's no limitations for the cars, boats, and planes. They can go wherever. Like, you can go up to the top of wherever the highest altitude is, which is apparently really high, with a plane, and just turn into a car up there or to a boat. And while you're up there, you'll fall. There's no limitations on that. And so you can take your plane down to where the boats have to go through the caves, and I just fly in there too. Unfortunately, when you crash, the plane doesn't blow up. The screen just goes black and it teleports you out. And then if you get stuck, that just teleports you way up into the sky. Which I guess that's okay. Because it would suck if you're in your plane and you just get stuck in a cave. And then you gotta teleport, and then you gotta go to the world map to teleport out. But they just do it for you, so that's pretty cool. I like that. They did show loot in the game, like actual dropped loot. They didn't show how it drops. And the loot didn't actually do anything yet, because they picked it up and it was just a little icon for it, but there was no text, and they apparently don't have a loot system in the game yet. Or maybe they do and they just didn't have it for the demo. And in the demo videos, it showed like every time somebody finished a race, there would be loot somewhere. So I don't know if they just drop loot after a race instead of just giving it to you, which doesn't make any sense, or if there's something else you can do, like killing 10 rats, and you get some, and then they drop some loot somewhere. I guess I don't know why they wouldn't just give it to you. But but in the videos, they didn't actually show why this loot was showing up, so there could be something else going on. I like that they got rid of that dumb story from the first game. Somebody was very angry when I said that Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 was satirical. They were pissed off that I said that. Like, there's a guy named Razor. And at the end of the game, you jump a bridge that's unfinished. And then all the cop cars go flying into the ravine. Which is literally what happens in every single movie from the 70s and 80s that have cops. At some point, they're going to go flying into a ravine. Like, I don't even know how many were made. I can assure you, every single movie with cops, that happens. But anyway, when they made the crew, they didn't realize the story from Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005 was satirical, and so they tried to make it serious, and that was dumb. Like, they didn't have a guy named Razor Callahan trying to get to the top of the blacklist. Razor Callahan was a cool guy, And I also don't think people realize that satire doesn't have to have jokes in it. Like if I were to say, if people are poor, they should eat their babies. That's not a joke, but it's satire. And I guess everybody on the internet already knows about that dude who wrote that. They called it a pamphlet back then. They said they should eat the children. All the poor should eat their children because of the famine going on. Not a single joke in the whole thing. That's what satire doesn't have to be funny. What else is going on in the crew? Oh yeah, the story. Now it's just you're on a racing team. People are like, why is it called a crew now? Why is it called a crew? Because where's your crew? Like, did you not watch it? You're on a racing team. It's a literal crew, a literal racing crew. Just like how dumb. You got to be dumb, or you have to be purposely missing what's happening to not realize there's a racing crew. They even tell you there's this whole thing about how you're some racing person and you like to race stuff and you're getting up to the top of the racing circuit or whatever. Like, oh, where's the crew? And people are not paying attention. People are saying some dumb things about the games. That because they didn't show something, they said, oh, well, obviously it's not going to be in the game. Like, I'm sure that somebody said about the Wolfenstein 2 trailer that because you didn't specifically see a boss battle at the end of the game, that means that the game just never ends. That probably somebody's going to say that. Oh, what? Does this game never end? We didn't get to see the end of it in the trailer. Well, I guess not, because if they don't show it in the trailer, it can't possibly be in the game. Trailer should show everything. It should just show the entire game, hundreds and hundreds of hours of the game, just so that you don't miss anything. Man. Well, I guess I gotta get back to laying on this couch. So I'll talk about games later. See you later.